Hello, my name is Eugene Bach. I am with Back to Jerusalem, and I'm really excited about being here at Morning Star Ministries. I work together with the Chinese Underground Church. If you're not familiar with Back to Jerusalem, today China is experiencing the world's largest revival. And they have a vision to not just keep what they have been receiving in China with this huge revival to themselves. They believe that God is calling them out to leave China and take the gospel to all the countries that are in between China and Jerusalem. That area is one of the poorest areas in the world today. That area is also one of the most violent areas today. That region between China and Jerusalem is one of the most unreached areas in the world today. So the task that God has given them is one that is really exciting, but also of the utmost importance. I've been living and working together with the Chinese since 1999, about 15, 16 years now, and I have seen the way that God has used the Chinese, and I have been completely blown away. For instance, in the beginning when I started working in North Korea for the first time, for Americans or Westerners to get into North Korea was never easy. But for the Chinese, it was not really a challenge at all. Because for so long, China has been trading with places like North Korea and their societies, their culture, geographically they're connected. In almost every way, they're super close. When the Chinese go into those regions, they're able to communicate on a completely different level. Why? Because places like North Korea are suffering persecution, and the Christians from China know what that's like. So they're able to identify firsthand what it's like to experience persecution for believing in Jesus Christ. And they're able to share, not from a theoretical or theological background and say, yeah, I know what you're going through because I read it in the book of Acts, but I know what you're going through because I've been there. I've gone through it myself. And let me tell you the way, the truth, and the life. Today, I'm seeing the Chinese work in amazing ways in one key area. That is the area where ISIS is moving. ISIS has been in the news a lot lately, but not a lot of good news has come out of that region about how ISIS is being stopped. This could be one of the major fights of our lifetime. ISIS has swept through unexpectedly into areas of Syria, Turkey, Libya, and Iraq. The world leaders are completely confused on how to respond to ISIS. Just a couple months ago, the top general in the U.S. military said, we don't know how to deal with ISIS, and without knowing how to deal with ISIS, we cannot conquer them. Well, the Chinese believe that they have been given the very message that is needed to conquer the evil spirit that is coming from ISIS today. Chinese have been moving into the areas of Syria. They've been working in Syria already for a couple of years. They know the area, they know the region, they know the people. And when ISIS came, many Western groups left. Many missionaries abandoned the area. The Chinese didn't leave. They're used to that kind of persecution. They're used to that kind of threat. They stayed because they knew, just like somebody risked their lives to give the gospel message to the Chinese, they too need to risk their lives to give the gospel message to the people in Syria. Today in Iraq, the Chinese are going into an area preaching the gospel and working hand in hand with those that are lost, those that don't know the good news of Jesus Christ. ISIS moved into an area in the northern part of Iraq around the summer of last year of 2014. When they moved into that region, they killed, they stealed, they destroyed. Women were taken as slaves. Today, I can show you a price list of young girls from the age of 1 all the way up to older women to the age of 90, how much they are being sold for. And on the price list, it says Christian or Yazidi women. Yazidi is a small minority group that is living in northern Iraq. In that region, they have been living for generations, but they have been isolated and have not been reached with the good news of Jesus Christ. According to the Caleb Project, they have actually 0% evangelized, living among the Yazidi people. Now today, the Yazidi people have suffered the full force of anger and hate coming from the radical Islamic group of ISIS. And they've been displaced. They've had to run to the mountains, the northern mountains of Iraq, and even into over the border into Turkey. The people that have gone to that region, they're without any of their things from their home, their livelihood. They don't have the clothes from their closet. They don't have the car from their home. They don't have any of the things that they need to survive. Many of them, they escaped only with their clothes on their back. I sat down with these refugees that had just come from fleeing from ISIS. I talked to fathers who lost family members, who lost their children, who didn't know whether their daughter was dead or alive, who went to bed every night thinking, is my daughter being raped over and over again or being sold from one person to another in ISIS? They are displaced. They don't know where their food is going to come from tomorrow, but today they are receiving help, and they're receiving it from people like the Back to Jerusalem missionaries from China. And the Chinese missionaries are able to share the gospel to a people group that is largely unreached. They're not able to do it alone. They need our help. They need us from the church in the West to partner together with them, to jump down into the trenches with them and stand with them shoulder to shoulder. Today, the Chinese are going there. They are helping provide food. They're helping provide the gospel of Jesus Christ. When I was talking with one of the top leaders from the underground church in China, in his church of about 4 million believers, we were discussing about how they were going to take the good news to ISIS, or to the area that had not been reached. And they said, why don't we take the gospel to ISIS? Why don't we target ISIS? Why are we running as Christians? We're the ones with the truth. They also need the gospel. So not just those that ISIS has been attacking, but also the people of ISIS. This is a huge task, and they haven't been called to do it alone. And this is something that we would ask anybody that feels led to join together with us with Back to Jerusalem, partner together with us, and let's take the good news of Jesus Christ to the Yazidi people, to northern Iraq, even to ISIS. What if, instead of sending bombs, we send Bibles? What if, instead of sending soldiers, we send missionaries? What if the good news of Jesus Christ could change that area of northern Iraq, Syria, and southern Turkey? Will you partner together with us? Pray for us. Pray for the Chinese and the Back to Jerusalem missionaries who are serving in that region. Thank you so much.